Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Scott. I'm going to give it a few minutes as we let people join us again. As last week, I tried being patient and giving time for people to join us. I try to be right on time at 10 o'clock. Sometimes, things happen in construction. We get phone calls and whatnot, and our clients are important. Sometimes we get interrupted. So I take a few minutes here during the day to talk to you about what I'm passionate about, and that's remodeling, the construction industry. Today we're going to go on and talk about bathroom trends. We're actually going to wrap up with bathrooms this week, although honestly we could talk about bathrooms week after week after week. Things are always changing. There's so many things to discuss. One of the things I haven't touched on, it just was coming up again in a client meeting as finishes. We're starting to see some of the old finish colors come back, believe it or not. So anyhow, I think I'll get started. So one thing we haven't talked about is storage, cabinets, the furniture pieces in bathrooms. So what we're seeing quite often now is, especially in masters, is two sink vanities. Often these vanities are furniture pieces, so you understand what a furniture piece is. A furniture piece doesn't have a toe kick on it. Instead, it's got legs on the bottom of the cabinet, furniture detail to it. Sometimes we're even using repurposed furniture. It's really cool. We've taken smaller, shorter dressers and used those for vanities in the past. But so furniture pieces, the furniture pieces often make it a little more difficult to do. Another thing that we do quite often, which is incorporating special storage in the cabinet. So one thing that we often do now, people are requesting, is rollouts within the cabinet. Sometimes it's below, down by the toe kick for towels, but often it's things like this. So this could be called a grooming station or grooming organizer. There's all kinds of names for it. I'm going to bring it a little closer, block out my face for a second. This holds things like curling irons, hair dryers. You see that I often have need to curl my hair or blow dry it. You can, hey Mark, thanks for joining. And Christy, watching people pop in here. Anyhow, razors, what's cool about these is we can actually incorporate an outlet in the back of them so that you can plug in your devices, keep them plugged in, and then what we'll do is put an outlet in the back of the cabinet in the wall, and we'll put a cord that actually retracts so you can pull out your devices and keep them connected. Some other organizers we use, and this is just some really neat stuff that you can use. See that? You've got, on one side, you can actually cut it off. There's a hair dryer and rollouts. This is really neat. We use this often. Instead of a filler, we use this piece. So this is often incorporated to fill out a space. So there you can put lotions and whatever you need to store. So, so just a note on two-bowl sinks. It doesn't work for everybody. You need to have at least 5 feet. You can make it work a little smaller than that, but think about the space that you're going to have between each sink. So when we get less than 5 feet, it really gets difficult to have any kind of counter space. You take a typical bowl that's 18 inches, that takes up 36 inches, and a 5 foot, you've got 24 inches left. Divide that by the 3 spaces, the 2 sides in the center, and you've got 8 inches. So we say at least 5 feet. More is better. Different types of sinks we use. Vessel sinks and undermount sinks are the most popular. Sizes, they're all over the board. Man, you can do some cool stuff made out of really neat materials, sometimes stone. So the vessel sinks, often that's what we're using, is stone. Not using quite as many vessel sinks as we did. They're still popular, but another thing, floating vanities. These are really cool. Contemporary look. This is a one-piece top here. You'll see all integral sinks. But the neat thing about this is it's elevated above the floor, and they're just easier to clean underneath. And so it's just a clean contemporary look. So that's something else that's really popular right now. Stacked cabinets, we still do that a lot. So that's when you've got a centerpiece on top of the countertop, or side pieces. Good for storing, again, good for small appliances. I am not a huge fan of this. We do it. I think it looks nice, but it kind of breaks things up, and I like to keep the countertop clean. Anyhow, just moving forward, trying to make sure I cover everything I wanted to. I think that covers it on vanities. I wanted to go in next into electronics, and what we're seeing now, not just electronics, just specialty things, lighting, special ads you can add to your project. So this is one thing. This is really neat. This is by Kohler. Take a guess at what that thing in the red in the center is. It's not the shower head. That's a Bluetooth speaker. So doing all kinds of wireless things within bathrooms now with electronics. Speakers, obviously, one of them. So that's a Kohler shower head. Another thing, this is really neat. I don't know if you'll really be able to get a full grasp on what this is. So that's a mirror, and this is, a 2-sink vanity, really neat. Darker colors, use that a lot, bigger pulls. But you see that mirror? So you can actually hide a TV behind a mirror now. So when the TV's off, you don't know it's there. When you flip the TV on, it comes through the mirror. So we do hidden TVs often in master suites, owner suites, but just really cool. Having that come on and have it be completely concealed. So you can buy the mirror, and it's got special features to allow you to do that. So other things are things like towel warmers. Those have to be wired. You see those often if you in Minnesota. And again, we got infrared heat. We talked about that. Maybe you have a heat lamp in there, but another option is to do towel warmers to keep your towels warm. And on that note, I thought I had a picture, but along with keeping things warm, still doing fireplaces, fire features in bathrooms. But if you've researched fireplaces, they've come a long ways. There's so many cool things out there. Definitely doing a lot of the linear, the longer looking, modern, contemporary fireplaces, but you can still do transitional or whatever. There's so many options in fireplaces. Electric fireplaces have come a long ways. I mention that to people, and sometimes they look at me like I'm nuts. But you can do mood lighting, you can change the backlighting, you can change the way the fireplace looks, you can do logs, you can do stone, you can do glass in there. It's really neat. And again, heat, it's an auxiliary heat system. You can use it to heat. The last thing that we'll talk about is smart electronics and lighting. We're briefly going to touch on that, but lighting, a lot of times now we're doing pendants over the sinks with still recessed lights incorporated, doing small chandelier style lights in there in the bathrooms, especially lights over tubs. The recessed lights have come a long ways. They can get quite expensive, but they're really funky. Some of them are so neat, and colors you wouldn't believe. So lighting is the focal point. It can be a huge part of your bathroom. It can make a bathroom, especially placement. So it's so important to think about how that's going to work, how it's going to light. Switching for the lighting, that's a big thing we've run into, is trying to talk through that with clients and make sure they understand. Dimming the lights, LEDs need special dimmers, but speaking about LED, a lot of what we do is LED, and I'm going to wrap up on this. LEDs are much more efficient. They last a long time. A 12-watt LED light will give you the same wattage as a 60 to 70-watt light bulb. Obviously, with the wattage decreased, the electric usage is decreased. But these lights are expected to last 5 to 20 years, so you're not changing bulbs. Existing recessed lights can be easily retrofit to accommodate a LED light, but one of the things to keep in mind, this is what I wanted to touch on, is Kelvin. So you hear 2700K, 3300K, 4500K. Kelvin is the temperature range, or the way the light works color-wise. So I'm going to hold up a chart, 2 different charts. So this one here, can you see it? kind of goes through what the light would look like from a 2700K to a 7000K. Gives you the light range, what it's going to feel like. The important thing is this chart, what this means to you. So let me back up, see if I can get this in there, maybe pick it up from here. So you can see the warm and cool light is where you want your bathroom to be. It depends on your personal preference, and it's nice to keep all the lights lighting with the same color. You can see that the 2000 to 3000K is suggested for bathrooms. You can use the 3000, the 3100 to 4500K. So that's just something to keep in mind. Typically, you're going to find most of the recessed lights come in the 2700, maybe up to 4500K, but most of them are 2700 to 3300K. But this is something that comes up often, and pay attention to that when you're picking out your lights. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is the last time we'll talk about bathrooms unless we have questions that come from clients. Please do reach out to us. We love talking about what we do here at Titus Contracting. Again, I'm Scott Rajavori. Been doing this for a long time. Love talking about it. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week on What's Hot with Scott. And by the way, speaking about smart fixtures, I just wanted to mention one thing. We will be dealing with smart houses, smart devices, smart lighting, using your smart device to control your home electronics in the next few weeks. I'm not sure if it'll be next week or when it will be, but I'm excited to talk about that topic because it's huge. Thanks so much. Have a great day.